Hi guys, so this is about the area of composite figures as I said before. I, however, made it slightly simpler. I will introduce you something more complicated later on where a rectangle is combined with a triangle. But for this one, I will just introduce you a shape that is the result of composition of two or more rectangles. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Find the area of a following rectangle. Now we did that before and it's quite simple and easy enough. And remember, we first need to label which one's the length and which one's the width, and then we multiply those two together to find the area of a rectangle. So here recall, to find the area of a rectangle, what we do is we multiply length and the width. And now you have this shape. So how would you find the area of this? Now this is not a rectangle, as you can clearly see. It's not the same shape as this. But if you are intuitive enough, hopefully, if you're not, then that's okay. If you don't see this for the first time, it's okay. It's not an easy concept, as I said before. So if you take a look at this, if I draw a dotted line over there, hopefully you see that you have a small little pink rectangle with a large green rectangle, right? So what I just did here is that I divided this big weird looking shape into smaller but more familiar shapes. And by doing so, we will be able to find the total area of this weird shape from finding the area of each rectangle that we just divided into. And if you also look at this, instead of dividing this way, and some of you may start seeing, oh, but what about if I divide it this way? That I get the blue long rectangle with a brown rectangle over there. That's also completely fine. It's the two different ways of doing it. There's no one solution to do this. Okay, so on the assignment, I may ask you, or on the worksheet, I may ask you to put all the options. Okay, so this is also possible by finding the area of a long blue and then area of this brown. Okay, and there are two ways. So let's just stick to it since we don't have to then erase it. So to find the area of a composite figure, all we need to do is we need to draw line, a line, or lines to divide the shape into more familiar shapes, such as a triangle and or rectangles. Okay, so that's the basics of it. Okay, we're dividing it. We're dividing it. So let's take a look at this one. If you take a look at it, I think it is pretty much the same thing, isn't it? 11, 10, 7, and 8, 11, 10, 7, and 8. So it all depends on you. I put option 1 and option 2. So all you have to do is come up with a first option and the second option. The order doesn't really matter. And what I will do is I will take this one as the option 1 since I chose this one first when I was showing you the example of it. And I can say that's the shape 1. And then shape 2 is this larger one. And in order for you to find the area of a composite shape, all you need to do is to find the every single dimension of the shape. So you see that here the 10 is from one end to the other end. 8 is from that to that. Now, hopefully you see this. If I go the brown length further, it's pretty much the same as the 10 at the top, right? And because of that, how we can find the brown line is that it's just the difference between the 10 and 8. Or the other way around, all I have to do is I have to go 2 more centimeters further from the 8 centimeters to make the 10 centimeters because this is 10. If it were to be 15 or a different number, then it will be different. So then this is 2 centimeter. Now I will use a different color here. Now we know that this is 11. The long one is 11. The short one over there is 7. And hopefully you start seeing this. You can say that this is 7 centimeters over there. If I highlight or color that leftover side on the up and down side on the left in pink, that's the difference between 11 and 7. So from 7 centimeters over here, if I go slightly further, that much, it should add up to 11, and that is just 11 minus 7, therefore it is 4 centimeters. So this is 4 centimeters then, since these two sides are the same. Okay, so we found all the missing links. So for the option 1, you already did that. The area of 1, which is then 2 centimeters over there, 4 centimeters over there, and that will give me 8 centimeters squared. And then 2 is that big one, where this is 10 centimeters at the top and 7 centimeters on the side, and that will give me 70 centimeters squared. Now, something that you really have to be careful of is that this side is not 11, right? This is not 11 because 11 actually takes up the whole side, not just a number 2 rectangle. So be really careful with that mistake. So then our total is 8 plus 70, the addition of the 2, and that will give me 78 centimeters squared. So that is option 1. Now the option 2, then we actually can work it slightly different way. Now, why are we using the option 2? Well, because not everybody can see the option 1 first. Somebody may see option 2 in an easier way. So for the option 2, then I draw this way. And all we need to do is to see whether the option 2's area will give the same answer as option 1's. So then we know this is 2, therefore this is 2 centimeters. We already found that from the option 1. And then we have this long green one, and I'll call that 1. And then we have this brown one, and I'll call that 2. So then your option 1, then your area 1, or the rectangle 1, is the long one, where it is 2 centimeters at the bottom and 11 centimeters on the side, so it is then 22 centimeters squared. Option 2, which is the brown one on the side, on the right side, is then 8 centimeters down here and 7 centimeters on the side. Again, remember the 10 is the whole upper side, not just the brown side. So be really careful with this. And that gives me 56 centimeters. So then the total is 22 plus 56, and that also gives me 78 square centimeters. And as you can see, the total ends up being the same. So it really doesn't matter which way you take, just to take whichever the way you like or you see first, or whichever the way that you feel the easiest when you calculate the total area. You don't have to do both. However, I will ask you to draw the lines in order for you to show me whether you can see both ways of dividing the composite shape into a smaller, more familiar shapes. So make sure you actually review this. This is not an easy one. If you don't, just skip it, then the assignment is going to be quite difficult for you, and then later concept is going to be quite difficult for you because at the end you will have a triangle, circle, rectangle, and you combine all those shapes to make a composite shape. Okay, so make sure you practice on this. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye, guys.